Uh-oh. That's not good. Alright guys, so this time I'm actually going to take you along with the diagnosing and fixing of a problem. Pretty sure I've already diagnosed it. I started smelling a fuel leak on this car, and I wasn't too sure what it was. And it was actually kind of deceiving. I turned the car up, and it would come from what seemed like the front of the car. I automatically assumed the fuel pressure regulator, which is a common thing. But, you know, always do a good diagnosis before you throw parts at it. So I figured we'll just kind of talk about it as I'm doing this. Also, the whole fender thing. Fix that. So definitely did not use a pry bar on it. So fuel leaks. I guess in general, the fuel system, so obviously you have your tank where your pump is. Two lines coming front to rear of the car, however you want to look at it. There's a feed and a return. They come up the driver's side of the car and they end up somewhere in here to a soft line, curve around back to a hard line up into your fuel rail. So here you can see one coming up underneath the fuel pressure regulator, and then there's one on the back side. So your feed comes in, and then there's your return. So here's a fuel pressure regulator I talk about. Sits on the end of the fuel rail here. And different ways, sometimes the diaphragm will leak, so you'll get fuel. If you pull this, you'll smell fuel and you'll actually see fuel come out of it. As you saw on the other silver car, there's like a seam right here it was coming out of. And then there's actually an O-ring coming in from the bottom as well as going into the fuel rail itself. Same thing back here, you have an O-ring. Those can go bad. In my case, we have a bad fuel line. So I'm gonna get underneath here, we're gonna take a look, I'm gonna show you. I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen because I already had to do break-ons on this thing from about, I don't know, between the doors back. I'm going to get this thing jacked up. We'll get underneath and we'll take a look at what's going on and we'll talk about a fix. Got her up in the air, and just like I thought, I found it. And it almost got me. So, turn the key, prime the pump. Nothing, right? Oh, yeah, kind of. Just a little bit. Let's start her up, see what happens. Oh, she's a peeing. Right there, nice pinhole in the middle line. Or no, that's the bottom line. The top is evap, middle is feed, bottom is return. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna do from here because it's all looking pretty rough. So I know I'll definitely start up here. It's just where am I going to splice it in back here. I'll be back with an update. Alright, so the job's done. Of course, forgot to grab the GoPro. But I'll explain what I did. So it being a return line, I decided to use some rubber hose. Basically, so I picked a spot about halfway up the car where it was still good solid line. Cut it there. Go for a fancy putt cutter. And then I went as far as I could. Chased it all the way back to the tank. And realized it was pretty much just all bad all the way back to where it goes into the quick disconnect, which in turn goes into a plastic line up to your tank. So you can buy the metal end of your quick disconnect at your parts store. It actually comes double-ended. So I cut it in half. I'll save this in case the other side ends up going. So like I said, rubber hose paired with the better hose clamps for fuel injection. So we'll go take a look. Just finished up moving everything, so we'll take a look. We brought this back in here. Gonna get the hood put on, clean up some of the wiring. Figured I'd let him do that. Oh, it's really cold. So it's like 11 degrees out right now, and this is not fun. Right there. So you can see right there, I hooked it up there. And then the other end is all the way up. Ran that around, made sure I wasn't touching anything, stayed away from the exhaust. You know, zip tied it up, make sure it's away from everything. Started it, ran it, you know, made sure everything was good, and we're good to roll again. Not the best way, and probably not the correct way. But when you have a beater and you don't want to spend so much money on hard lines or have to deal with it, it's a good alternative. I don't suggest doing it for the pressure line. So hopefully this helps somebody. I don't know, a little thing to do. I figured I would follow my journey. Kind of figured it was going to be a little more tricky than it really was. Anywho, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.